Everywhere I go, people, they ask me, what do you hope to see in Danganronpa 2x2? What are your predictions? So here it is. I'm going to be talking with the assumption that you're familiar with all of the Danganronpa games, so this is your preemptive spoiler warning. And while we're here, I might as well tackle the other big question everyone has with Danganronpa 2x2, and that is when the release date is. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I can say with confidence that Danganronpa 2x2's release date announcement is going to happen in 18 minutes. Don't believe me? Go ahead, check their social media. If it's not there, it's probably because you didn't wait 18 minutes. Now that we've got that out of the way, it's time to tackle my predictions for the killers and victims of each chapter. And I have to say, the first chapter, it's gonna knock your socks off. Because the first chapter's victim is going to be our protagonist, Hajime Hinata. And the killer? Well, it's Nagito Komaeda, of course. It only makes sense because Nagito Komaeda always wanted to be a stepping stone for Hope, and he initially planned to start the killing game before in the original scenario. The reason that he targets Hajime Hinata is because he doesn't have any talent. Plus, you know, let's be honest with ourselves. Nagito Komaeda, he's not even that cool. He's like a total ripoff of the superior Kokichi Oma. So honestly, I'd be glad if they got Nagito Komaeda out of the way as soon as possible. And same with Hajime. I understand that as a protagonist, he's not supposed to be the most interesting so that you can self-insert, but like even with Izuru Kamakura, that character is boring as sin. Izuru is even more boring than Hajime is. And don't get me wrong, the irony of Izuru Kamakura being the ultimate everything, and yet he's a super boring character, isn't lost on me. But the reality is he still sucks ass. Excellent work, gentlemen. We just created the ultimate chud.
He's just like me for real.
So I don't mind if he dies as soon as possible. Like, spare us from getting any more Izuru Kamakura characterization than we've already gotten.
Kamakura, yes, queen!
With the death of Hajime Hinata, that means we need to have another protagonist. And this is where Hiyoko Sayonji comes in. Many people have said she deserves to have more screen time, and here's her opportunity. Bask in the joy of squashing different Monokuma-shaped ants, each chapter as optional collectibles. Pick your nose during class trials, and try not to piss your pants whenever someone yells at you, as Hiyoko Sayonji in Danganronpa 2x2. And this gives Mahiru Koizumi a good opportunity to be the classic Danganronpa supporting character, who does most of the heavy lifting in each chapter, so that Hiyoko Sayonji can spend majority of the trial berating other students because frankly, they deserve it. And it's kind of funny. Now that we got that squared away, it's time to start chapter 2. This time, the funhouse is put front and center as the crown jewel of Goodbye Despair and Jabberwock Island as a whole. They are immediately plunged into the funhouse, this time with a brand new twist. Instead of Grape House and Strawberry House, it is Coconut House for the girls and Banana House for the men because, I mean, come on, it's the funniest joke in the whole world. It's the funniest joke ever. Monokuma will make extensive use of these new locations to the point in which it will cause you physical recoil. And also the fruits are dancing, likely as a pop culture reference to Cocomelon, although this theory is unconfirmed if it's true or not. Anyway, the killer's Akane. She eats Chiaki because she thinks she's a drumstick or something. I don't know, who gives a fuck. Alright, so now that they've played it safe for chapter 2, I think chapter 3 they're gonna go hog wild. So, chapter 3, Mahiru Koizumi gets a vision where she shifts to the previous reality of Goodbye Despair, the one where she's killed by Fuyuhiko and Peko. This causes Mahiru to become paranoid. Fuyuhiko, who previously was really mean, suddenly and uncharacteristically decides, hey, I'm gonna try and make up with everyone and change my bad attitude for the better. He knocks on Mahiru's door to have a heart-to-heart conversation with her, and that's when he gets kidnapped. He's forced to write a note to Peko asking her to meet him in the middle of the night and to keep it a secret. Mahiru, using her premonition, assumes Peko Pekoyama is besties with Fuyuhiko. However, because this is an alternate timeline, Peko does not give a rat's ass about him. Despite that, Peko asks Ibuki to come with her because she was, for the first time in Danganronpa history, sensible enough to not go to the midnight rendezvous alone. As they approach the tied-up Fuyuhiko, Mahiru hits them both in the head with swimsuits filled with gravel, where they are knocked unconscious. The three of them wake up, locked in Mahiru's soundproofed room. There's a note on the table. It says, "You've been injected with a deadly poison. There is one antidote. It is not potent enough to share. Choose wisely." Peko snatches the antidote, immediately says, "Give me that shit," drinks it instantly. Ibuki and Fuyuhiko fucking die in front of her. She comes out of the locked room, slices Mahiru in half directly down the middle, and then the class trial takes place. She's inevitably found guilty of murder despite her story being tragic and empathetic. Her execution ends up being reused due to budget constraints. For Chapter 4, it's commonly known to be the self-sacrifice chapter. However, I've received insider information about this chapter that will truly spin it on its head and make you think differently about what was even believed to be possible in Danganronpa. Unfortunately, Gundam Tanaka makes it deep into the game, despite everyone wishing he was one of the first students to go. Do not fret, because Chapter 4 is where his reign of terror comes to an end, because it would seem Gundam Tanaka and Chapter 4 are a match made in heaven. Instead of being the killer this time around, he winds up being the victim. And what's really messed up about it is the culprit. Jum P, his beloved familiar, is the one who deals the final blow, and the students are forced to convict a small hamster to the gallows, where they are promptly executed. The three remaining hamsters are then exiled from the group, and they switch sides to Monokuma's team. They function similar to the Monokubs, but with even less relevance. So that brings us to Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is usually the big shocker chapter, so we really need an X Factor moment, especially with the body reveal. I mean, we're going up against the Nagito body reveal, so it's gotta be something special. And that's why Ultimate Imposter, who's been alive all this time, disguises themselves as all of the different students and commits various crimes, but each one escalates in intensity. Initially, they're disguised as Mikan, who is caught jaywalking across the street. Then they disguise as Hiyoko, who trespasses into someone's room. After that, they litter on the school grounds while disguised as Nekomaru, which initially Monomi gets really pissed off about, but Monokuma crucifies Monomi only for her to be resurrected 3 days later, when it's revealed that Sonia Nevermind is found dead in the street. During the course of the trial, Ultimate Imposter's crimes leading up to the death are uncovered as they work out everyone's alibis and realize Ultimate Imposter has been trying to get everyone to cast suspicion on one another for the entire chapter. As the trial comes to a close, the group is about to convict him as the Blackened. Right as the group is about to lock in their votes, it's interrupted by a beeping sound, increasing in frequency and pitch, resonating from Ultimate Imposter. He's then exploded into a million pieces mid-trial, and the class are forced to reconsider if this was an act of suicide or the act of another killer trying to hijack the trial. So then the cast has to reinvestigate, and it's uncovered that actually Kazuichi Soda, world's nicest guy, never did anything wrong. He decided, I'm gonna feed Ultimate Imposter a pipe bomb. Kazuichi Soda slips it into his cup of coffee. Ultimate Imposter chugs the whole thing in one gulp. And then at the end of it all, Kazuichi, he's convicted as the Blackened, and then he is pulled apart, limb from limb, in an uncomfortably realistic 3D animation. It's completely jarring for the rest of the game's anime art style, and critics worldwide are outraged and disgusted. And that leads us to Chapter 6. The big finale. If you're anything like me, you might have thought, hey, why don't they try to escape the island? And in this version of 2x2, they do. They craft a boat, and they go sail out into the ocean. Mikan, unfortunately, she falls off the boat and dies. And as they sail in the middle of the night, they collide with a wall, and everyone is jolted awake. They go, huh, what just happened? Nekomaru shits himself, which isn't funny in the game, so don't laugh at that. And then they reach out towards the wall. They pull back a tile, and it reveals they've all been on a movie set this entire time. You're probably groaning right now. You're like, oh my god, are they gonna do another V3 thing again? It's all a movie, it's all fiction. But not this time. They step behind the tile, onto solid ground. The ocean they once thought isolated them from reality was nothing more than a large pool. They find a door. It's labeled emergency exit. They push it open. An alarm blares, but they ignore it, and they step out of the building and onto the sidewalk. A bustling businessman. He bumps into Hiyoko Saionji, knocking her to the floor. The man yells, "Hey, watch where you're walking, pipsqueak. What, you three just blow in from Stupid Town?" And then spits on her. That was probably disgusting sounding. And then Nekomaru says, Well, actually, we just blew in from Stupid Island. But Hiyoko Sayonji begins crying, and Teru Hanamura says, "No way! Looks like I finally made it to the big city!" The camera pans upwards, revealing the city skyline, and the screen cuts to black. The credits roll, and the curtain closes on Danganronpa 2x2. After the credits wrap up, a post-credits scene is shown, showing the next Danganronpa game. My ideal Danganronpa game, which I'll tell you about at a later date, because this is all the time I have for today. I appreciate you watching. Feel free to drop your own Danganronpa predictions, and make sure to check Spike Chunsoft's social media in the next 18 minutes, because that's when they're going to be announcing the release date of Danganronpa 2x2.